Hey everyone, Pastor West here with you on Wednesday afternoon. Hope you're having a good week. Now, I was thinking this afternoon, everything that we're going through right now is just a test. Every time you pull up to the gas pump, it's a test. Every time you stand in line at the grocery store right now, it's a test. And as I thought about those things, it reminded me of what 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 6 and 7 says. It says, "In this you greatly rejoice, though now for a little while you may have had to suffer grief and all kinds of trials. These have come so that your faith, of greater worth than gold, which perishes even though refined by fire, may be proved genuine and may result in praise, glory, and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed." A test is something that is always going to involve pressure, and we know everybody is feeling the pressure of life right now. And when we talk about a pressure test, whether you're talking about an engine, whether you're talking about a structural beam, or a person that is being tested, the method is always the same. Pressure or some kind of stress is applied to the object in the test. And without stress, the test would not really be a test. You couldn't call it a test if there weren't pressure involved in it. You give a second grade math test to a high school student, that's not really a test. It's not a true test. The purpose of all testing is the same. And a test is meant to discover any weaknesses so that it can be corrected, so that the product or whatever it is can be improved. And if the object passes the test, then it's been proven to be genuine, it's proven authentic, it's fit for the purpose for which it's made. Now, we see why the Apostle Peter speaks so highly of the trials that we face in this Christian life, because they're all important tests of our faith and they have wonderful results because God's purpose, His own purpose, is behind all of the tests and all the trials that we go through in life. And so even while we rejoice in our eternal inheritance, Peter says we may be suffering griefs in all kinds of trials. Sometimes it's suffering for the cross, simply because you have given your life to Jesus Christ. It's the confession of your faith in Christ and your trust in Him. Sometimes it's a loss of people, a loss of something that's very dear to you. Sometimes it's physical. Sometimes it's a weakness or a disappointment or some kind of trouble that you're facing in your life. Are they difficult? Yes. Are those things distressing? Absolutely. But we've got to learn to thank God when we're tested, because it's God who's testing our faith. Our gracious God who's testing our faith. God Himself, He's in the test. And He applies the pressure so that He can reveal and correct the weaknesses. We always say if He brings you through the fire of affliction, it's not to harm you, but it's to refine you. It's to purify you. It's to temper you. It's to strengthen your faith in Him. Luther wrote one time, he said, "One Christian who's been tried is worth 100 who have not been tried." Going through the trials strengthens us. It's what makes us stronger. It's what forges character in our life that leads to a glorious reward. And out of that reward, the blessing of God grows. And so, it's great to be alive. Even when you're tested in the fire. I know a lot of people can't say that. I know a lot of people won't admit that. But it's great to be alive even when you're being tested in the fire, because it's God who is leading. It's God who has designed it. God is in it. God's purpose is behind it. And He is purifying and He's proving our faith. He's refining us. He's strengthening us for eternal benefit. So somehow, some way, we've got to dig down inside when we're going through the trial, when we're facing affliction, and understand, one, that God is behind it, two, that it's for our good, that He's strengthening us, He's purifying us, and when we're tested, we were to rejoice. And that's probably the hardest part of all of that, is learning how to rejoice in the midst of trial and learning how to rejoice in the midst of pain. But I can promise you this, if you'll find a way to rejoice in the midst of the trial, I promise you, your trial won't last as long. So my prayer for myself, my prayer for you, is that we learn to rejoice in the trials, because God is behind it. He's the author of it, and it's for our good. He's strengthening us for an eternal benefit. I hope you have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next time. I love you. God bless you.